What is going on, guys? I'm super excited to show you this, and I'll back up here in a second to show you guys my AMG. But today, we're at Blair Designs. We are going to be doing our own custom forged carbon fiber on some of my wide body kit for the AMG. Now, before we get going, the body kit, whenever I had it all fitted up, there's a lot of gaps and stuff. Jose actually came through and made body panels align. Look at that kind of stuff. Jose, you sent me a lot of before and after pictures, but I guess what all did you have to do to get these body panels to align?
I guess the way that they sit, I just had to add some fiberglass. Like here, this space was like not touching the panel.
Okay.
Including here, I had to trim this edge here, go along every edge. Wherever these would meet, I'd body work them together to make sure that they'll sit seamlessly.
Like, that's crazy, because I don't know if you guys remember this, but this had a huge gap in it.
And then like in here too, there's like openings, so now it sits flush.
That's so awesome,
this back
dude.
area too.
Right now, the car's obviously not like completely back together, and the reason being is because we're gonna be doing carbon on a lot of the pieces. I wanna show you guys what forged carbon is and how it is done. It's actually, it's an interesting process. It's easier than you'd think, but it takes a very long time to do, which is typically why it's kind of expensive to get a forged carbon piece. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolutely insane. Jose, this looks wild.
It does, right?
It looks so wild. How long did it take you, like from start to completion? How long does it typically take for something?
I'd say the complete process, maybe 5 to 6 days.
5 to 6 days?
It's just because each layer of a epoxy gets fully cured.
So this carbon is super interesting. What you do typically is you take a sheet of pre-woven carbon fiber. You lay it over epoxy and it sticks on there, and then you put epoxy over, and it's kind of tedious because you have to like really get your fingers in there and make sure it sticks to the edges and all that kind of stuff, and then you got to cut it. It's a lot of work, but it's pretty simple. The way forged carbon works, as you guys can see, it looks like it's pretty sprinkled everywhere. Well, it's because it is. It's actually carbon fiber that's cut up. I'll go ahead and move on. Jose and I are gonna show you guys today how to make forged carbon. You know what I love? Hair is good. It's great when it's on your head. Guys, today's video sponsor is Keeps. Did you guys know that I had to read that to make sure. 2 out of 3 men will experience hair loss by the time they're 35. I know it's a weird subject for some people, might be sensitive, you might have hair loss that runs in your family, or you might be experiencing it right now. If there's anything that I have learned by working with Keeps in the past, it is that the sooner you act on stuff like this, the more you can prevent, and the fuller head of hair you can have. If you guys don't know about Keeps, we've talked about them in the past, but they offer clinically proven ways for you guys to stop your hair loss. That's clinically proven, researched back treatments just for you. A couple cool things about Keeps is you can get quality expert care at the comfort of your own home. All of their treatment plans are doctor recommended, and they are delivered right to your front door at about half the cost of a typical visit to the pharmacy. They also offer 24/7 care and support, and they have a huge network of specialists that you guys can reach out to move forward with your hair treatment goals. Whether you're looking to prevent hair loss, stimulate your hair growth, or just take care of the hair that you currently have, Keeps will have a solution for you. They've got a ton of different options for everyone out there. You can also subscribe to Keeps to get reminders for refills so that you never get low on the stuff that it takes to take care of your head. Hair loss stops with Keeps. You can use the link that I've got for you in the description. It's keeps.com/EvanShanks to get 50% off your first order at keeps.com/EvanShanks. I know it can be sensitive to some of you, but if you're dealing with it right now, or you think you might, it's better to start taking care of it at the moment than it is to wait. Thanks to Keeps so much for sponsoring today's video. Now we can get on with it. This video has actually been in planning for quite a long time. What I wanted to do was make the best way of breaking down this process possible. So what we have here on this table is every single step of the entire process. So here's my front splitter. It is completely untouched. It's just a primed piece. So we're gonna start with that. Like I said, Jose's actually staged this for you guys, so where every single stage of this process, you guys can actually see it. So before we get started, I'm gonna show you guys what happens.
You're gonna wanna sand it with like a rough sandpaper thoroughly. And once that's said and done, blow it off, clean it up, and then that's when we can add the first layer of epoxy. So once that gets tacky, then we'll start adding the actual flakes of carbon.
Cool. This is a 1 pound bag of cut carbon weave. Well, it's kind of mesmerizing.
Right.
But I'm excited to show you guys this process. This is step 1. We're gonna go through all of them from start to finish. Nice and dusty. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the epoxy. This is how you would do any carbon fiber piece. So right now, if it was regular carbon fiber, we would still put epoxy down and let it kind of get tacky and thicken up a little bit. If it was normal carbon fiber, you would have a sheet that would be like bigger than this whole thing. You'd lay it over it, press it down, and then let it rest. What's different about this process is you actually end up sprinkling the carbon on it. I kind of feel like that's easier in that sense, but it does get more complicated down the line. So we're gonna go ahead and start on the first coat. So you have to do this multiple times, and it's gotta dry in between each time, right?
Yes.
Part 1.5. A little bit of salt and pepper.
But yeah, you just have to sprinkle them and press it down.
Like a Salt Bay kind of thing, like that. Ooh, okay, that's actually just softer than I thought it was gonna be. Try not to do what? What were you saying?
Oh, whenever you sprinkle it and it's on there, try not to push it around.
Okay.
Because then they'll turn all hairy.
Oh, okay, I kind of see that too, because if you do too much with your fingers too, like if you do that, it turns into hair as well. So you kind of actually have to just kind of like drop it on there.
Yeah.
And as you can kind of see, so right here, you can obviously see that there's just mountains of this on there. You kind of pour epoxy over this once it's all done, and then you wait for that to dry, and then you sand it.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and get this thing fully done. I know how to sprinkle. It's just salt and pepper. So now that we've got it completely covered, you'll notice that it's got obviously just a lot of stuff. There's also a lot of little hairy parts. You don't have to take all the little hairy parts out, but like big rat's nests like this need to come off. This is part 1.5, boys and girls. At this point now, if we're happy, we just move on to putting more epoxy on it. So you really pile it up here.
Yeah, because the way that they are, they have to seep through so it can get in there.
Interesting. So yeah, even this part takes a little while too. I went ahead and put the camera down. I started working on that side to kind of get a feel for it myself. You can kind of see it's really interesting how much it changes. It's wild how much it starts changing just by having even wet epoxy on it. After this dries, most of this will end up being kind of sanded and shaved off because you're gonna want a nice thin layer. This is the last step of part 1. I've got some cool stuff I really want to show you about like how the three-dimensional part of this all works. It looks really, really sick once it's done. Since this is completed now, the only thing left to do is sit and wait. Let's move on to part 2. So like I was saying, this video took a little while logistically to make because we wanted to have every single stage of this done so that you guys could see what's going on. Once that in there is dried, it's going to look a little bit like this. So have you sanded at all on this one? So this is literally exactly what we just did in there. As you can see, it's kind of, it's not super even. It's been pressed down a lot by the weight of the epoxy, but you have a lot of stuff hanging off on the side, and then you just got a bunch of kind of a mess right here.
So I guess after that's dry, you come back and start blocking it down. Try to get like an even surface as possible. You'll see like indentions and stuff like that.
Actually, check out this right here. This area is really cool because you can see a bunch of this carbon. It's not shiny or anything right now because of how satin and sanded this is, but you can see how many layers of pieces are down in there, and that's what kind of gives it a really cool effect. It's for the most part, it's pretty smooth. You actually now have to do exactly what we just did again.
So once it's flat, and you add your last, this is the last epoxy you should add. From there, it's pretty much just block down.
So I don't know how much you guys can see right here. It's pretty flat. Most of the imperfections are now gone because epoxy's kind of gone through and refilled a bunch of those air pockets and holes. And so, but this is the last epoxy. Is this 2 or 3?
5 or 6.
Oh, this is 5 or 6.
Yes.
Okay.
It varies, yeah.
Okay, so this is obviously a lot. So I actually want to show you guys something. This is not the finalized piece. This is actually the final epoxied piece minus the sanding. It's really neat. You can get in there and you can see like all these layers and layers and layers, like Shrek the Ogre has layers. Look, so if you hold it in the light, it just looks really, really awesome. So I wanted to show that before we ended it and showed you the final process. So this is the final epoxy stage. We've got one more, and I'm gonna get my my hands moving today, and I'm gonna do a little bit of work. So for the very last part, you're several days into this and a lot of sanding down. It'll look about like this. As you'll notice, it's super flat. It's been sanded, so it's pretty much, you have zero surface squiggles, nothing going on. This, you're just going to go ahead and clear coat. Jose, I'm sure you could probably just use like 2K clear at home, but like we're gonna be doing the big boy stuff in a big boy paint booth. Was that mine? Yep. Sheesh. Nice. Damn, boy! So after this, do you still like wet sand and do it again or anything, or is this?
So yeah, pretty much after this, you let this dry a little.
Okay.
Well, you do one more, and then once it dries, you wet sand it smooth, and then come back and do another.
Let's go, dude. Damn, dude. That looks wild. So this takes how long to like dry?
It should be dry by tomorrow.
Okay, and then you'll come back, block it, wet sand it, and then do it again? Yeah. But this kind of gives you an idea. I don't need to clear it twice and all that kind of stuff. He's actually filling in some pockets right now just to make sure we get a clear finish. But dude, this is wild. This would actually look really cool with a satin clear coat. That would look really sick. So that is the final step. Is there anything else?
Pretty much just block smooth, and then maybe give it another round of flow coat.
That's the cool thing is now it has clear coat, so you can cut, compound, polish, aside from the actual epoxy itself. So it's always gonna be clear. So when all is said and done, you get a really cool, beautiful piece of art, honestly. We're gonna end up doing obviously that was the front splitter, the wing is gonna be done, some of the parts of the diffuser, and some more parts are gonna be finished, but I really wanted to give you guys, for one, an update on the car, and two, I wanted to show you guys how this was done. I mean, there's several like really in-depth how-to videos. I know Jose watched a bunch of them, but I wanted to film my first experience with it, me not knowing how to do it, and now me probably being able to do it if I had all the right materials. So you'll end up with this really, really pretty product after probably a little bit of sanding and blocking, but it's just wild because like you look, I put the lighting right here, you just see all these really cool layers of that. And to be honest, like I wasn't always to the forged carbon look, but after seeing how it's done and seeing the parts of it that makes it really unique and cool, I freaking love it. So we wanted to have these on the car and ready for you guys. Those parts are just 2 really small pieces. We're gonna have tons more. It's gonna look wild with all the carbon up front. The car is going to be absolutely insane. As for the rest of this video, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of an update on this car. Actually, you might see my HKS bumper right there. I brought my IS 300 here. It's about to get painted. Jose has done such a sick job of just like blocking, and like if you see how clear this paint is, it would not be this clear if you did not have your boy Jose doing this, because like it's a lot of sanding and making it like nice and shiny. Like that looks like it's an OE piece. All this stuff right here, the fact that like this had such a huge gap right here and it's just perfectly sits on the body now. And I actually wanted to show you guys the bumpers. Here is my front bumper. It looks absolutely ridiculous. So we've got the front bumper in black. I don't know if I told you guys this, but obviously we are painting it OE black, OEM black, and it's gonna look really, really neat. And rear bumper time. This is going to look so wild with this massive diffuser right there and everything like that. Massive diffuser with some carbon bits, the clear tail lights, all this kind of stuff. Guys, this is going to be probably the coolest car I will ever build, or can ever build again. I could not do it without the help of Jose De Lira, and obviously a big thanks to Lucas over at Carbon Air. You guys can check out this body kit. It is a Carbon Air body kit with a 2018 front end conversion and some other cool stuff.
You get so many looks when you
It's going to be nuts. I don't think anybody's. I think what's cool about this car is you won't see another one like it. I mean, I think there's like 6 in the USA. Like I see Huracans and McLarens, and like I see that all day long here in Dallas, but I've never one time seen a wide body Mercedes, and it's just going to be really cool. Plus all the carbon bits and all the work that's gone into it, it's going to it's going to pop and it's going to look insane. I just want to say a big thank you to my boy Jose. You are awesome. Check him out, Delira Designs. Thanks for letting me use your paint booth. I had a wonderful experience. Actually, that's my first time in a legit paint booth. Like it's much better than an aerosol can. I'll tell you that. It's much more effective and it's a lot easier. You wouldn't believe it. Thank you guys for watching today's video, and I hope you liked it. I love Carbon. Call me Carbon Daddy. I don't even care. You don't have to call me Carbon Daddy. I actually recommend you probably don't do that. Make sure you guys are following my Instagram. We will be choosing the winner for the BRZ very soon, very shortly. It'll be on my Instagram and 53's Instagram as well. It's in the description below. At the end of each video, I give you guys daily advice, some inspiration, kind of help you guys push through whatever life might be giving you right now. Negative thoughts compound. They really, really, really do. The more you think of yourself as useless, worthless, stupid, ugly, fat, whatever it is, the more you think of that, the more it's gonna become true to yourself. And the more you sort of condition your mind to interpret life the way that you talk to yourself. And you get kind of stuck in this loop, in this perpetual, to be honest, that's why a lot of people have depression, because they can't control those repetitive thoughts. But also the same goes for other people as well. The more you consider people angry or rude or this or that, like you start seeing that and you sort of manifest. It's like the saying is, if you search for darkness, that's all you'll see, but if you search for light, you'll often find it. It's like if all you're doing is telling yourself these negative thoughts and negative things, you're only gonna see the darkness. You guys have an amazing day, and I'll catch you guys later. I'll catch you guys next video. Peace out. Hey, I got 2 videos for you guys to watch, and let me tell you what, it helps me a ton if you continue watching my content. I don't even know what videos are in front of you, because YouTube chooses those, I think. But they're good. I think they're recommended for you, so I mean, anyways, have a good day.